My girlfriend filed a restraining order against me, claiming I was emotionally abusive for questioning her spending. I didn't fight it. I just closed all the accounts I'd been covering and canceled the lease I was guaranteeing. It's ironic because the whole thing was supposed to protect her, but it ended up highlighting exactly why I had concerns in the first place. 72 hours later, her lawyer called, pleading to negotiate. I'm 31, male, and this all started on a Thursday afternoon at work. The front desk called me down, sounding uneasy. A process server handed me the documents with practiced indifference. My girlfriend, Laya, 28, of 3 years, had filed an emergency protective order alleging emotional and financial abuse. Her proof? Texts where I asked why she spent $1,800 at a high-end store after claiming she was broke, and an email suggesting we set a budget. According to her, my simple question, "Hey, didn't you say you couldn't cover your car payment?" was controlling and emotionally manipulative. She claimed I tracked every purchase, grilled her about money relentlessly, and created a toxic environment where she feared my reactions. The reality? I had been covering her financial gaps for years. 4 credit cards in her name, an apartment lease with me as guarantor because her credit was terrible, car insurance under my policy, and temporary expenses whenever she needed help, all for 2 solid years. Yet, apparently, asking one question about her spending counted as abuse. The restraining order demanded I stay 100 yards away with no contact, effective immediately. I complied fully. I didn't argue, I didn't call, and I didn't text. I went back to my office, opened my banking apps, and got to work. Within an hour, I canceled all 4 credit cards. They were in her name, but I had been paying them. Legally, I was allowed to stop. I removed her as an authorized driver on my car insurance, contacted her apartment complex to withdraw as guarantor with proper notice, stopped all automatic transfers I'd set up for her expenses, changed my passwords for Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Paramount Plus, removed her from my family phone plan. Effective next billing cycle, she had nothing. The apartment situation was particularly interesting. I wasn't a tenant, just the guarantor. Carla, the property manager, was surprisingly cooperative. If you're stepping down as guarantor, she'll need to qualify independently or find a new guarantor within 30 days. If not, eviction is inevitable. I documented everything and returned to work. That evening, my phone was eerily silent. The restraining order worked both ways. She couldn't contact me either. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. It was a lawyer, Daniel Kessler. "Mr. Carter, I represent Miss Laya Monroe. There's been a misunderstanding with the protective order." "What misunderstanding?" "Several of her financial accounts have been closed. She depended on those payments." "Then she should have considered that before filing a restraining order claiming I was abusive for questioning those payments." Silence. "Surely we can find a solution. My client is open to amending the order to allow financial discussions." "No need. I am fully complying with the order. No contact means no contact, including financial support. I've given proper notice to withdraw as guarantor. That's with property management, not her. This is compliance, not retaliation." He mumbled something about bad faith and financial abuse. I hung up. 20 minutes later, texts started pouring in from her friends. I didn't read them, just screenshots. Violating a restraining order cuts both ways. Monday morning brought chaos. First, an email from Daniel, a formal letter demanding I resume financial support during this transition period. My reply was short. Per the restraining order, I cannot have any contact or relationship with Ms. Monroe. Financial support would constitute a relationship. I am fully complying with the court order. Then came the social media storm, the kind you can't ignore. Laya's best friend, Mia, posted on Instagram, "When toxic men use money to control women after being called out for abuse, part financial abuse, part narcissistic manipulation." She shared screenshots of my texts canceling payments. Mia wrote, "This backfired hard." I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer. Tuesday evening, Carla called with another bombshell. Diane Monroe, Laya's mother, had tried to forge my signature on a lease guarantee renewal form. Cameras confirmed it. The case was referred to the police. Diane later messaged me via LinkedIn, a platform apparently not covered by the restraining order, demanding I fix this situation. I didn't respond. My lawyer, Robert, was thrilled. Laya had filed a baseless restraining order, and her mother's forgery attempts proved harassment through third parties. Wednesday brought further escalation. Laya's car was repossessed, not my doing. She hadn't made payments in 4 months, using my money for other purchases. Mia's Instagram post claimed, "Now he's taking her car. This is abuse," until commenters pointed out she had relied on my payments. Mia deleted the post. Thursday, her credit cards started declining. Panic shopping maxed them out in 3 days, assuming I'd bail her out as usual. Daniel called again, offering to drop the restraining order. I refused. I had already adjusted to comply fully. She faced eviction, but I couldn't interfere. Violating the order would have been illegal. Update 4. Diane Monroe was arrested at her Pilates class for multiple forgery attempts and identity theft, including trying to add herself to my car insurance and open a credit card in my name. Laya claimed ignorance, but subpoenaed texts proved otherwise. Daniel withdrew as her lawyer, citing ethical concerns. Her new lawyer, Tom, requested emergency financial support. Robert's response was perfect. Facilitating financial support would endanger her, so no compliance. Meanwhile, I thrived. I started a baking class with the money I wasn't spending on Laya, posted a few Instagram pics of sourdough slice, and avoided petty posts. Laya's friend Sophie messaged me angrily. I calmly reminded her I was respecting the restraining order. Sophie blocked me. Update 5 brought absurdity. Laya launched a crowdfunding campaign claiming financial abuse. She raised $73 in 3 days before someone posted her past social media history. Designer purses, spa weekends, dinners, all gifts from me. The campaign was shut down for fraud. Her father, Richard Monroe, called. I went through this with her mother. False abuse claims, restraining orders, financial manipulation. Don't give in. They escalate until you resist. He was right. Update 6, Eviction Day. Laya called my mother, Maria. My mom, firm but fair, reminded her of the restraining order and the consequences of filing false claims. Laya hung up. Day 24. Laya showed up at my office. Security stopped her. She was sobbing about how I was ruining her life. Police were called, and she was arrested for violating her own restraining order. Diane ailed her out and held a press conference, ranting about financial abuse while under indictment for forgery and identity theft. Carla confirmed Laya was formally evicted. She applied for other apartments but was rejected due to credit and background checks. My sympathy lasted briefly before I remembered the restraining order accusations. Final update. Laya moved in with Diane in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment. The restraining order remains active. Her new lawyer offered a deal, 6 months of financial support in exchange for admitting the abuse claims were exaggerated. I declined. Mia and I ran into each other at a grocery store. She admitted she had been scared when I questioned Laya's spending. Diane orchestrated everything to manipulate me. Later, Diane pleaded guilty to forgery, receiving probation and community service. Laya's credit score dropped to 420. She works retail, lives with Diane, and is already seeking financial help from someone new. The restraining order lasts 9 more months. I used the $3,500 a month I had been spending on Laya to boost my retirement, invest, take a baking class, and enjoy life. The restraining order, intended to manipulate me, became my liberation. The lesson? When someone reveals their true self through legal documents, believe it. Protect yourself. Don't feel guilty for enforcing boundaries. If someone threatens a restraining order to control you, comply fully and let the law do the rest. Laya wanted me gone, but my money to stay. The restraining order made that impossible. She outplayed herself with paperwork, and I walked away free. Sometimes the best way to counter manipulation isn't confrontation, it's enthusiastic compliance that exposes motives. Distance, paperwork, legal boundaries, they are your allies.
Use them. Protect your finances, your time, your peace, and watch the drama unfold without guilt or hesitation.